Hey y'all. New type of content. So, getting out of the system, using the creative inspiration to make a living, and the ebbs and the flows that come along with it. So, if this is something that interests you, please stick around. I'm Jennifer Rene. This is Within by Jen. It's within you. It always has been. Growing up, I never really understood the system. I always felt like I didn't fit in. I always kind of was rebellious. I was always very defiant, and I did not like rules. And while I did wonderful in the school system, there was still this part of me that felt like it wasn't completely fulfilling. It was only a part. And I didn't like the structure of work related environments. And so I'm grateful to have gone through college and then started my personal training career really while I was still in college. And then that just went with it. Funny story, growing up, I loved Cooking Network, Food Network, and then the workout videos. And so I used to watch all the workout videos. And I remember, even because it was my way of working out, I loved it. I also always had a problem with my body. And so coming through and really honoring myself and honoring my body, I gained weight really quickly, but I can also tone back up really quickly. I'm grateful for that. But that was also a learning curve for me to realize you're going to have to stay on top of this, my dear. So that was kind of the helpful nudge that I needed to go into personal training and nutrition. And so where was I? Along that journey in the personal training world, I was in that for about 13 to 15 years and loved every part of it. And then actually, while I was at UMKC, I worked at Lone Star and loved it. But because of that, even at Lone Star and then even working in Warrensburg at CMSU, UCM, I worked at Fitters for a while. So hi, if any of you guys are watching that, my Lone Star and Fitters family, I love you all so very much. Those were the times of our lives, and we're still living them now, thank goodness. And if you're not, do something different. But I'm grateful because in that way, it was kind of like you were making your own money versus based on how hard you were going to work, but there wasn't a cap. And that's what I really appreciated. And so that for me stuck. And then, but with personal training, my job got very cozy, and every job that I worked at, basically they funneled me clients, which was wonderful. And so I didn't have to really do the marketing and the sales aspect of it. It was a natural giving of clients. But in that aspect, there was one of my jobs where we could make our bonus check if we made so many sales. But even in that realm, it didn't really fit well for me, because I knew that the products we were pushing on people, they weren't really going to use, and it was really about money. And that never felt right to me. And so fast forward in 2020, the rehab facility that I worked for closed down, because we all know what happened in 2020. And it really forced me into creating something in the longevity range for myself. And so that's where this really truly healing journey begin, because I kind of got a lot more time sitting in silence. That's where your grief and everything that you hold starts surfacing. So while doing that, writing started flowing out of me. And so that's how I have my first book. And I have so many other 300 probably pages now more of written word that I want to put in a book or in a maybe a journaling type of set. I don't really know. I don't know how that's going to go. I was actually at a coffee shop one time, and I had just internally asked myself, would it be better to have one large book, or would it be better to have smaller, short kind of series of books? And there was a lovely two girls having a conversation, and they didn't know my question, but they were speaking of this series that they were reading, and that the book was delivered there was so much information that they found it hard to digest. And so I thought, oh wow, okay, that's perfect. And so I thought short, smaller books and then journaling. Because so in my first book, I have the page of the poem or the spoken word, and then the next page is blank, and that next page is for you to write all of your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions that come out and that surface, because that is the point of it, is to see what surfaces for us in these truthful messages, so that then we can honor the emotion. And that's why I left it that way. So I have my book, and then I started artwork. And I'm not really sure why. I believe really honestly what happened is I needed some other form of creativity that I thought could bring me a source of income in. But I didn't have any money. So mind you, this last 6 years has been barely making ends meet while creating Within by Jen. And it has been wow to have like just enough to pay your bills, just enough to make ends meet, has tested all of me, has tested every ounce of me, my patience, my will, my faith, my trust, but also continuing on this path and really devoting my life to this practice, this ministry, if you will, this purpose, this mission. And it's an honor now to be here and to finally, I guess, have the courage to talk about it. And it's funny, this morning I posted a video, what does courage look like for you? And I think this is me showing up. I actually know this is me showing up in courage and talking about my story. And so to get back to the artwork, I found that I could, and if you are anybody who is wanting to start artwork, or you have a little that wants to start artwork, a lot of times on certain days at thrift shops, you can go in and you can buy canvases, and at a cheaper price, at a really discounted price, and you can start that way. And so that's what I did. And I would go in and I would buy sometimes 99-cent canvases, and then I could buy acrylic paint at the dollar store. And that's how I got started. And so I have built on that. And now thankfully I can buy a little bit more expensive paint, because what I'm also finding, and what you'll have to do is what I have found is when you have the canvas already used, you have to really, really sand it down so that the new paint can adhere to it, or else it starts flaking off. But that's another, in and of itself, I feel like it's like the old me shedding in some of my artwork. And so it's kind of beautiful to watch. So that's how this expansion has kind of started. And then actually rewind back for a moment. When I started Within by Jen, I wanted my clothing line, because I had so many people ask me, oh my gosh, where you look so cute. Where do you get your clothing? And I found it that I was always sending them to all these other stores. I'm like, this makes no sense to me. Why don't I just start my own? So I did. And I think that process for me, if I'm being honest, was to prove to myself that I could, because also what I found in that was the quality of what I was getting. Some was great, some was not great. Sending it back cost me more money than even buying it. But then I didn't want to sell that product because I wouldn't wear it for myself. And so it was kind of this catch-22, while also buying what you could potentially buy on Amazon or some of these other cheaper marketplaces. You buy it and then you throw a logo on it and then you upsell it. And that just didn't quite feel right to me. My ultimate goal is to find manufacturers and high quality product so that I can have self-sustaining, also good for our bodies with less dyes and everything else. Even though here I am with, I have my logos on some of them now where I'm pressing those in. It's all a learning journey, so don't hate me. But this is just my honest truth and kind of what I have found and what I've learned. But then, so that's kind of why Within by Jen, the athletic portion of it kind of took a back seat, because it didn't feel aligned. And also my soul was like, nah, you're not done yet, my pretty. Let's keep going. We have more work to do. We have more ascension, awakening, consciousness to come alive. And so we are in this moment in time where it is coming alive, and we are being birthed into the truth of who we are and everything that we've been through. And so then also this final piece for me was delivering these messages and showing up and delivering these transmissions and with all my social media platforms without any of it being monetized, and really being in this like full faith, full trust, full trust that everything was going to come in exactly as it should. And so most of the time I would be frantic on how I was going to be able to pay my mortgage and my bills, and a piece of artwork would sell. And, for instance, I took a big leap of faith and I sponsored a retreat back last year, and I did not have the money to do so. And so thankfully, beautiful being, soul, I love her so very much. If you're watching this, thank you. You have no idea what that meant to me, but her purchase actually made me break even just on the money that I spent to sponsor that. And so there's been little things like that where it's just like, have faith, have trust that it's all going to work out. And it really does test you, because it sometimes brings you down to the wire, and really having to find ways to have fun and to keep myself kind of entertained without spending money. But then you find that minimalism, simplicity, we stopped really going out. We spent a lot of money on alcohol going out on the weekends, to be honest. We spent a lot of money on me just not wanting to cook and kind of being lazy, and getting away from the truth of preparing your own meal and cultivating and now growing from start to finish my garden outside. And now, so this next year will be my 4th year of my garden. I haven't posted it, but I have a when it began video that I will do, and what it looks like now, because it's been amazing growing my own my own garden. And every year I started with one, and then every year I've added another one. So I've got 3. This next year I'll have 4, growing our own food. And it's been incredible being able to go out and nurture the food and give gratitude to the earth and her beauty of bringing up and birthing these beautiful food, vegetables that we're eating, giving honor and praise to the sun, to the masculine for feeding this beautiful food. I mean, it's this beautiful cycle of life, and it's this self-sustaining cycle of life. And so that comes back into this kind of rat race, workhorse mentality, if you will, of fighting to make ends meet. But yet you're always working up for the dollar. You're always working, punching in a clock. And I never wanted to be part of it. And so this for me feels so real, of getting out of that system and finding something that works, and then hoping that it inspires others to do the same. And for me, it has been 6 years. So 2019, August of 2019 until this year, which is 2026, January. So this August will be 7 years. So it does take dedication and commitment, but it takes really putting yourself out there and really being vulnerable. And I'm not saying you have to do that all in the beginning, but that's where I have found that honest transparency of, these are the struggles that we go through. This is the uncomfortability that we go through and that we face. But it's also the blessing, because you meet yourself face to face every single time. And you're like, how are we going to dance through this? And what are we going to do? And so this is my kind of coming out of the closet, if you will, and saying, I am ready to receive. If this finds you and you are inspired to do this, I will keep showing up with these messages, with my transmissions, with my meditations, and then just the little every day, what my day looks like. I've been doing that for a while, but this was kind of the truth of my journey, and I thought that I should share it and put it out there, because it has not been easy. But yea, though I've walked through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. And I was listening to, if you're going through hell, keep on going. Don't slow down. If you're scared, don't show it. You might get out, for the devil even knows you're there. And that's kind of what it has felt like. Although the crying, the soulful, and it's funny because what I find too is when I'm talking with people and I talk about the truth of me crying, losing it, allowing myself to come unglued, most people don't know how to meet me there. It's like, and just the other day I was sharing a story like that, and then I was met with silence, and I thought, oh, okay, on that note, I'm out. And so I know that speaking the truth does make people uncomfortable. But I also had a friend of mine ask me one day, she's like, how are you so honest and truthful all the time? And I just remember thinking, I've lived in the other world. I've lived in the other world where I couldn't be honest with myself. And full transparency is where I have found liberation and freedom, and where I have found like minded souls roaming this earth that want to be in the same space. And while it's been a slow trickle of all of us coming together, it feels like this bowl of just the explosion of light warriors, light beings, rainbow warriors. There's no, whatever you want to call it, this leading edge place that we're in right now that's actually been going on for eons and centuries, but thankfully the old has just crumbled. It's crumbling right before our eyes. And so while that's happening, we're rebuilding. And we've been doing it now for a while, and so we've got a little bit more experience under our belts. Not to say that there are not those who have walked before us that have done the same, and thank you so much for our ancestors and for those people who are teaching and preaching this God-driven, soul-aligned life living. That's what it is. It's teaching life and living life in our fullest expression and experience, and truly just experiencing love. There's nothing to it. It's not difficult to do. It's just that we have to let go of the old ways of lying to ourselves, not being honest and truthful with others, hoping that people can read our minds. It's really about transparency, truth, honesty, and growth. And it's a glorious, glorious space to be in. So I'm going to leave it there. I thank you so much for watching. It's an honor, a blessing, and a privilege. And if you would like to donate, bring it on, because I'm ready to receive. I'm ready to receive because I'm tired of making ends meet. I'm really tired of it. And I'm honored to be here and to be of service and to keep delivering these messages. And I'm ready for the energy exchange. I feel like we're finally a vibrational match. And so if you would like to support in any way, I will leave my link tree that has all of the donation options. Buy me a coffee, Venmo. PayPal's been a little bit testy lately. I believe I have Cash App, but I'll leave those listed below. I'm not able to link any right now because I think you have to have a certain amount of followers. And then I'm also looking to do like a school or a community platform where I teach more intimately in those spaces. So stay tuned for that. I'm hoping to get that actually up and live this week. So I love you so very much. It's an honor, a blessing. I'm Jennifer Rene. This is Within by Jen. It's within you. It always has been. And I will see you all in the next video. Mwah.